Let me welcome you, my dear students. My name is Saima and this is your class of Classics in Drama in MA English second semester. My dear students, in this session we would like to learn about the classics in drama. And the way we go ahead, the concept is that we would try to find out the classical drama. My dear students, let's discuss the outline that today we will discuss the introduction to classical drama, introduction to Greek and introduction to Sophocles. So my dear students, let's start our discussion on classical drama. First of all, I would like to discuss the word classical. Students, the word class can be either an adjective or a noun. Similarly, a classic thing is something that is in some way typical for its class. So classical means tradition or being present for a long time. If we see the dictionary meaning of classical, then it is relating to ancient Greek or Latin literature, art or culture. And this word classical also represents an exemplary standard within a traditional standard and long established form or style. My dear students, the word classical is related to first class or top priority rank, especially in literature or art. My dear students, this word classical also pertains to established principle in a discipline. So through these definitions or we can say that through this term, you can understand the signification of your work, Classics in Drama. So my dear students, after discussion of the word or the term classical or classics, we move on to the next word, that is drama. So dear students, drama is a word that comes from the Greek verb dram, which means to do or to act. And comedy and tragedy are two traditional generic divisions of drama. But if we hear the word drama, the one thing that comes in our mind is a generic, we can say that it is a generic or is a genre of thing that contains a serious information. And the older meaning of definition refers the definite type of fiction that is meant for stage performance. While it is analyzed that drama is a very important genre of literature, then we find a drama is a piece of writing which is artistically presented with dialogues. A drama is attractive, impactful and real as it represents or presents characters along with a natural and credible aspects. Moreover, drama is meant to be performed on stage. The drama provides a live setting where the characters are real and demonstrated the story in a natural way. So my dear students, we can say that a play carries more influence and mostly it moves or motivates the audience easily. So we all know that the things which are present or we have the vision have more trustworthy. So drama is very effective and very impactful as far as its characters are concerned, as far as its settings are concerned, as far as its actions are concerned. We can say that drama is full of variety. It's either we talk about its dialogue, its action and its activity and everything. So my dear students, let's discuss the classical drama. The drama of ancient Greek and Rome is called classical drama. It started in Athens from religious celebration in honor of, we can simply say, in honor of Dionysus. It involved ritual chants and songs performed by a group of people that is called a chorus. This evolved into dialogues which turned into theatre. So my dear students, let's discuss the characteristics of classical drama or classics drama. So my dear students, the classics drama, it talks about the unities of time, place and action. So we can say that the action of the play must happen in a single location within the simple time span of one day. It talks about the violence that happened off stage and was related to the audience by the chorus. All characters, or we can say that all actors wore masks. So they wear the mask and all parts were played by men. We can simply say that at that time women were not allowed to perform on stage, even to do work instead of house or home. So my dear students, let's discuss the elements of classical drama. The first element is tragedy. So basically a drama that we can say that the recounts the downfall of a dignified or superior character who is involved in historically or socially significant events. So tragedy, we can say that tragedy is a genre of story in which a hero is brought down by his or her own downfall, means his own flaws, usually by ordinary human flaws like greed, flaws like any overconfident and pride. So the next element is tragic hero. Tragic hero is basically the protagonist of a work who is in conflict with an opposing character or force. The next one is tragic flaw. A defect possessed by a tragic hero that brings about or contributes to his or her own downfall. So basically we can say that the tragic flaw is a mistake of a hero that mistake brings him or her to the downfall. So next one is chorus. Chorus is a group of 15 people who comments on the action of the play. Next one is the choreographer, that is the leader of the chorus. Then myth. So myth, traditional stories often concerning supernatural being or events that were told to explain natural process or phenomena. While legends are also stories, but these stories handed down from the past that even often believed to be based on actual historical events. So basically the difference between myth and legend is myth talks about the supernatural events, supernatural beings, and while the legends, these are the stories that are taken from the historical event, that actually historical events are present in these stories. The next one is metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison between two things that have something in common without using like or as. For example, if someone says, "My son is lion," in this sentence, lion is a metaphor because son is as brave as lion. Means someone says, my son is as brave as lion. So the next one is simile. A stated comparison between two things that are actually unlike but they have something in common by using like or as. I can explain it through this sentence that her eyes are as blue as sea. So here we can say that eyes are compared with sea. So my dear students, the next element is dramatic irony. In dramatic irony, it is basically a contrast between what a character knows and what the reader or audience knows. If we talk about anything if we talk about any drama that we are reading a drama or we are watching or theater, so we can say that the character doesn't know about his or her past, but as a reader or as an audience, we simply can say that as an audience we can understand what was the past of that character. So this is the dramatical irony, means the character what the character knows about his or herself, what the reader or audience knows about that character. Then personification. So personification is a figure of speech in which human qualities are attributed to an object, animal or idea. So we can simply explain it through this sentence that lightning dance across the sky. Here we can say that the lightning is personified through light. Now we can simply say that through dance, because through dancing it is attributed a human quality. Then the next one is imagery. Imagery is words or phrases that recreate vivid sensory experience for the reader. So I can explain it through a sentence that is, the autumn leaves blanket on road. Here we can say that the autumn leaves are we can say are tossy on the road, or we can say that are spread on the road. It seems like a blanket. So it gives us the imagery of we can simply say that imagery of sense. The next element is foil. Foil is basically a character who provides a striking contrast. We can say that a striking contrast to another character. While protagonist, as you people know, that central character in a play is called protagonist, and antagonist, basically the character which force against the main character. Mean the thing or the person which is used as a force against which the main character is pitted. My dear students, let's discuss the structure of classical drama. It has the structure of prologue, parados, episode, stessimon and exodus. So prologues the opening scene where the background of the story is established, while parados is chorus, mean entering the chorus with chants relating to the theme or an extreme situation. Then episode. Episodes are basically plot is developed much like a modern act or scene. Then stessimon. At the end of each episode, the chorus expresses views, and exodus is basically the final action. So my dear students, let's discuss the introduction to Greek. So basically, Greek is a small country in the southeast of Europe. It is near the Mediterranean Sea. The main part of the Greek is on peninsula. The rest of the piece is made up of an island. Let me tell you the difference between peninsula and island. In island, a land is we can say surrounded by water and mountains, while in peninsula at the three corners of a land is connected, we can say surrounded by water, while the fourth corner is the land connected with the another land. So we can say that the cut off the island means the rest of the Greek is made up of island that cut off by mountain and the sea, and it is we can say that isolated. Then we can say it led to be formation of city state. Then it is they have the limited interaction and unity of ancient Greek. So my dear students, let's discuss their gods. The Greeks worship many gods and goddesses. Some of them are written here that Zeus is the god of sky. It is considered that he is the ruler or father of all gods and goddesses and humans. Then the next one is Hera. Hera is a goddess, basically goddesses of marriage, heaven, family and children. It is considered the daughter of Titans and Rhea, and the Hera is the wife of Zeus. The next one is Athena. So Athena goddesses is considered the goddesses of war, handicraft, and practical reasons. While Apollo is considered the god of music, dance, prophecy, healing diseases, and sunlight, poetry, and many more. So these are some gods which were worshipped by the Greeks. So let's discuss the daily life of Greek people. The Greek life was different for men and women. The wife's work was centered at home, while men almost always worked in the field. So, my dear students, if we talk about the Greek women, the Greek tragedies depict strong, independent women. But in ancient Athens, if we talk about the Greek, this was a rare role of women to play. Women were unable to participate in politics and government. They could not vote or hold office. They rarely were even seen outside the home, except at such events such as festivals, marriages, and funerals. They could not marry without without the permission of their male guardian. So only men could initiate divorce, and this was we can say the reality. Reality is relatively easy. Means we can say that the divorce is relatively easy for men to accomplish. So we can simply say that the Greek women are totally different from Greek men. The next one is Greek theatre. If we talk about the Greek theatre, the theatre was born in Athens. It was the Greece between 600 and 200 before Christ. The origin of ancient Greek drama or theatre began with dances and songs. Ancient Athens created a theatre culture. That theatre was used to honor a god. The name of the god was Dionysus. Then the theatre of ancient Greek evolved from religious rites, and which dates back we can simply say that which dates back to at least 1200 before Christ. Greek theatre were held outside. My dear students, we can talk about that Greek theatres were held outdoors. There were no specific, we can say, a building in which they performed their theatres. And my dear students, we talk about the festivals. That Dionysus was the god of wine, agriculture, and theatre. During this religious festival, there was a theatre competition, and each competition playwright submitted 3 tragedies and 1 comedy. And winner of this tragedy was, or we can say that, won a god. The most successful and recognized playwright was, we can say, a successful or recognized playwright was Sophocles. So my dear students, let's discuss the famous playwright. That the first one is Athens, the second one is Sophocles, and the last one is Euripides. So the first one is Athens. Athens wrote around 70 to 90 plays, through only 7 survived, while Sophocles wrote about 120 plays and only 7 were survived. While if we talk about the Euripides, we simply say that Euripides wrote 92 plays but only 19 survived. So my dear students, let's discuss biography of Sophocles. That he was born in 495 before Christ, about a mile northwest of Athens. Sophocles was to become one of the great playwrights of the Golden Age. He was basically a wrestler, musician, general, and a politician. He was very handsome and successful. In his first competition, Sophocles took first prize. he was an accomplished actor. Sophocles performed in many of his own plays. However, we can say that. However, his voice was comparatively weak, and eventually he would give up his acting career to pursue other ventures. So, my dear students, Sophocles had two sons. The first one is Typhon by his first wife Nicostrata. The second son is Ariston by his second wife Theris. So the famous works are Ajax, Antigone and Trachinae, Oedipus Rex, Electra, Philoctete, and the next one is Oedipus at Colonus. The characteristics of Sophocles' writings are emphasis on individual character, reduced role of chorus, complex characters, psychologically well motivated, exposition carefully motivated, and scenes suspensefully climatic. The next one is actions clear and logical, poetry clear and beautiful, few elaborative visual effects, and theme emphasized basically the choice of people instead of his own choice. So my dear students, let's discuss, or we can simply say that let's take a quick review. That today we will discuss introduction to classical drama, introduction to Greek, and introduction to Sophocles. This is all about our today's lecture. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.